Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Welcome to your October Tarot Oracle, where we are going to look at the economy for October, our physical health for October, our mental emotional health for October, our romance for October, our social health and wellness and interactions for October, our spiritual connection in October, and an overall message. That's what we do here in Tarot Oracle every month. We look ahead at the month ahead, always accurate, just like every reading is always accurate. And we did see in September a bit of shaking up of things, a bit of worsening, if you look at it things that way, which it's hard not to, of the economy, of what's going on in the world stage, of various levels of devilry and evil. But we also saw the corresponding light emerge, as always, as we do. And I hope we keep our eye on that as we continue down this path, because it'll become ever more and more important to do so. I always like doing these look aheads, and I always love that, we're given some good warnings. We're also always reminded of that light. So that's always nice. And I don't control which cards come out. So that's just how it is. That's just how it goes. And I do think as you're connecting with your heart, with what's inside of you, with these higher level forces, you might call them, of goodness, truth, and beauty, that they do have that eye on you, right? They do want you to remember the light, and they do want to bring that through. And they also want to show you exactly what to watch out for and be warned of. No one's trying to hide the darkness in that. And I appreciate that about them. We were just talking on the last episode of Middle Path, which you have access to if you are a supporter on Rockfin, or if you subscribe to the audio on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts, uh, about Michael. At the very end, Michael came up because it was Michaelmas, or St. Michael's Day. And Michael, of course, the archangel. And it's a day of sort of balance as well, just like the equinox is. So it's good timing with that. Again, Michael's a warrior. Michael's here to fight the darkness. Like, he's got a sword for a reason. He's not a pacifist. Like many people try to project their pacifism onto the Bible, but it's nowhere in there. And they try to project their pacifism onto Buddhism and all these other things, but there's plenty, as we've talked about in the past on many of my shows, there's plenty of evidence that there's not even pacifism in Buddhism or any of these things either. And Michael's not a pacifist. Michael's here to do war with anyone who brings it. So, it is good. It is good to see the darkness. It is good to take up our sword against it. It is good to focus on the light, because that is what animates us in times of darkness, and it is what keeps us moving through. And it also what protects us. And I can feel it getting ready. There's a channeled message waiting to come through more clearly, but it's been starting to tickle and have synchronicities and sort of seep through even before it really gets here. And the message is really that we are all protected. It's not to say you're not going to die. You're going to die. Of course, you're going to die. Everyone's going to die. It's not to say you're not going to suffer. Life is suffering, right? If you look at it that way. And that's the Buddhist tradition as well, right? Life is suffering, attachment is suffering, and life is attachment. But the protection, is at that soul level, and it's at that heart level. And if you choose to be in the light of the light, aligned with the light, whatever that is to you, however you call it. Some people call it God. Some people want to go through Jesus. Some people want to go through Buddha. I don't think it matters. I think it's that that you choose it knowingly, and that you agree to be aligned with it, right? There's a reason. This is really interesting. Total side tangent before we get to the reading. But we just were watching Fargo, I think season 3. And Johnny was saying, like, one of his theories was that this guy is the devil, and that God makes an appearance too, or at least evil and good, right? However you conceive of this. And I was like, oh, what makes you think so? And one of his arguments was like, well, look at how he always needs his documents to be signed. He could just wreak havoc. He could just do bad, right? But he needs people to agree to it and sign their name to it, and it's very important. And he gets really happy when people do. Like, you see him, like, he enjoys it. He revels in it. And I'm like, that's so clever, because that is how evil works. And it's also how goodness works, right? What do you agree to, align with? And once you do, you're sort of like under the protection of that realm, right? Whether you go good or evil. I know a lot of people are like, that's not how it is, and I don't agree to either, and da da da. I get it. We're distrustful here. We have reason to be. We've been long abused, and so we've become disabused of some illusions. But it's not because anybody needs your contract necessarily. It's because we can't make mistakes here of who has chosen what, right? So if you choose, good, and if you know that you've chosen, good, and if you're not sure, choose anytime you want. I did a long, long time ago, and I've never stopped choosing it. And when you choose, again, darkness, then the dark's going to come through for you. And when you choose lightness and brightness and goodness, then that's what's going to come through to you, even when the darkness comes to try and fuck you up, throw you off the path, suppress you, all of that. You'll be protected in that. So, yes, you'll still have suffering. Yes, you'll still die eventually, but you have a different kind of protection. And I think that is good to have if you want it. The allies and the guides are there waiting for you. So that's part of the message that's been wanting to come out. We'll see if it is reflected in this reading or not, or if we just get into more of the um, aspects of October that maybe aren't necessarily as connected with that. But it is all spiritual in the end, right? That's why I love that we always end with a spiritual message, a spiritual card, a spiritual overall view, because that's what's going on here. And if you don't know, now you know, maybe. If you hadn't figured it out yet, that's all that's actually going on here. And all of the physical stuff, all of the tedium, all of the details and intricacies, it's all nothing really. It's all just nothing. What's actually going on here is just spiritual. That's it. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience, and all the rest of it is just the trappings. Try to convince you otherwise and sign the contract that maybe you didn't actually want to sign. Be careful. Be careful what you agree to. So after that tangent, I do want to tell the people on YouTube this is a supporter only show. As always, the tarot is. I think last month I did a tarot for everybody, and that was actually a good thing. There was a bunch of good messages and warnings in there that everyone needed to hear, perhaps. But we're going back to supporter only, so I do want to invite you over to Rockfin. There's so much content there, not just mine, that you get for just one price every month, $10 a month. You get access to mine and everyone else's. So this tarot show, this every week, my Middle Path show, and a lot of other content that I only do for supporters there. I hope to see you all there. And otherwise, I will see you back on Sunday. We've got a super cool guest coming up on this coming Sunday. So I'll see you there if you're on YouTube. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.